dice for a roll off. Can I borrow a dice?
You can borrow a dice. No, that's not good for me.
You've got a 1, I got a 3. There we go. That's because I rolled the chaos dice. You are being the defender, I am being the attacker, which means I get to do the intro. Welcome everyone to All Out AOS Presents Tip of the Spear. This is episode 21, and it is our second time reviewing a Skaven Spearhead. The first time we did the other Clawpack. This time we're doing the Gnawfeast Clawpack. But how has your Age of Sigmar week been until we get onto those?
We brought tickets for our tournament.
We did.
That's probably about it, really.
So we are really lucky in the fact that we live in the Midlands in England, and Warhammer World is probably about 40 minutes away. But I think it's the biggest gaming expo in the UK happens in Birmingham, which is equally probably about 40 minutes away. Yeah. And they are doing the first ever Warhammer Open there in May, and we have got tickets.
First ever?
I think it's the first ever in the UK.
Definitely not going to win them.
There's two golden tickets available, so you get one, I get one.
Yeah.
Well, by the time we booked, there was only 5 people else who bought tickets, so I'm like, yes, we got a good chance.
We got a good chance.
Until the other 150 tickets sell.
Yeah.
And then we don't.
Yeah. And I've got to figure out what I'm taking, Flesh Eaters or Stormcast.
One of the reasons I like Spearhead the most is once you've selected your army and your Spearhead, that's it. You can regret maybe taking that particular Spearhead, but you can't regret the Spearhead. Its composition is made up. Whenever we do proper match play tournaments, I'm always sat there going, this game would have been much better if I'd had that unit, or why did I choose this unit? And I'm going to be sat the whole time, if we're doing 8 games, I'm going to sit through every single game going, why did I choose this unit? Especially when you've had a bad first game and you go, I've got 7 more games with this army now.
Yeah. Me and you make very different lists. I'll be like, what lists are you taking, Duncan? And you'll send me about 500. And they're all like slightly different. I just sort of go, I don't know, I'll put this together. And I think it's all right.
Is this not like a reflection of us in general? Like at school, you would like do 0 revision, the minimum homework, and just go, yeah, I'm fine. And I would like obsess over it.
Well, yeah, true.
So I think this is just our personalities coming through. But I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
8, so it's Friday to Sunday, 8 games. And let us know if you are going to play, because it'd be really nice to see any of you there. And
if you face us, please go easy on us, because it'd be nice to win. We're not going to win.
We're not going to win.
We're not going to win.
But I think 8 games actually means that you find your level, because I do find sometimes, but one dayers, you can start off well and then just play against someone who's crazy good, or the opposite, you can start off badly and then still play quite good players because they just played against a really good player in the first one. I feel like with this, you should, once you've played your first 4, you should find your level after that.
I guess we'll be playing each other by game 8.
We're going to play each other. I guarantee if we do not play each other somehow, it'll be an absolute miracle.
Well, we probably won't, because you tend to lose your first few and then win your last few. I tend to win my first few and then lose my last few.
So we will keep you updated each week how we're doing in sort of our preparation for that. I'm ashamed there's not a Spearhead part of that. I'd love that. They've got 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team.
Oh, Kill Team.
And Underworlds. So please do Spearhead next time. And then I won't sit there regretting my choice of army the whole time. We have been doing a fair bit of filming. I think we talked about last time where we are doing a destruction tournament, and we've done a little bit of filming for that, which has really been nice. And we've done the brand new Lumineth.
Obviously no spoilers, but I think Bone Reapers had a much better showing this time.
I mean, it wasn't hard after their first game. It's one of those ones where if the bar is here, anything above that...
Your general did something.
He did something.
There you go. Spoilers, he does something in this game.
He does. Shall we get on to the sneaky Ratmen?
I mean, yeah.
Drug-addicted Ratmen.
Is warp spark a drug?
Yes. They basically get high on it and then think they've got magic powers.
Propaganda.
Which they do.
Exactly. They take magic stones that make them magic. Just also makes them explode occasionally. Getting into it, you've got your general, the Claw Lord on Gnawfeast, so your big cavalry general. You get 2 other heroes in this, which I think is the
only army, as far as I can think of, that get 3 heroes.
You get 1 Grey Seer, you get 1 Warplock Engineer, and of course you get your obligatory 10 Clan Rats and 10 Clan Rats, because what Skaven list doesn't have Clan Rats in it? And then you get your 3 Rat Ogres.
She's looking at that, especially after we've literally just done, like, looking at new ones like Lumineth, Bone Reapers, Zinch, even the Stormcast from last time, all have only got 4 units. This has 6.
Yep.
And you get all of them from the start. There are nothing coming in later.
Potentially.
I know you can choose to, but you can have all of that on the board. It looks and feels like a lot.
And 2 of the units are reinforced.
Yep.
Which, again, most of those don't have a reinforced unit. Seems crazy.
Yep.
When you actually compare it. And it's probably why it's such a good spearhead. And quite a strong one. Just because you've got so much.
And the 3 heroes is pretty crazy, because sometimes you can look at it and go, wow, what's a 5 or 6 health little infantry hero going to do? But even if it just stands at the back of the board the whole game, holding that back objective so they can't speed a death back onto it, or there for hold ground.
Well, the brilliant thing about this spearhead is those 2 small heroes actually have pretty key roles. Going on to their battle traits then. But they've got 2 battle traits, but it works as one basically. You pick a friendly unit that has not been deployed to be the target. The target unit is set up in reserve in the tunnels below. Units in the tunnels below that have not used the Gnaw ambush ability by the end of the 3rd battle round are destroyed. So, the Gnaw ambush ability, pick a friendly unit that is in the tunnels below to use this ability. Set up that unit wholly within 6 of a corner of the battlefield and more than 9 away from all enemy units. So it's sort of like a teleport, but as someone who's played it, it can be a little awkward to do. Especially if you pick the Clan Rat unit, because they are quite big and they take up a lot of space. But it's any corner.
So the first time that I played against someone who did this to me, because I think I must have played against you a few times, and you just literally opted not to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Which is weird for a battle trait, that you might not even choose it. But I do think it is good. However, by not even realising, I think maybe my cards, I don't know, we were going diagonals, my cards would take the flanks, so I'm kind of in the corners naturally. I've got my general who was stood at the back, and the rest of my army got a good charge up the board. And then the person was like, right, I'm going to bring my rat ogres down now. And he spent 5 minutes on each corner trying to measure them out so he could put them down, and he couldn't. But because it's 9 away, I was sitting there going, has he misread his rules? It's probably 6, or most of the other ones are 6. I can think of Hand of Gork for Gits, which is 9, but all the others are 6. And then in the end, he couldn't even put them down. And I was like, that's a big thing in your army that's not on the table.
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, you can put the rat ogres. I mean, you can put anything. You can put your general in there if you want.
Yeah, because the only ones I've experienced is clan rats and rat ogres. But I do think, looking at that, maybe you try a tiny little base.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Warplock Engineer. And then you can pop out, shoot a bit. Obviously, maybe not great if he ends up behind them and they just go, oh, we'll just run and kill him. But if everything's kind of locked up in the middle combat...
On paper, it does obviously have some downside. But I think it's what is kind of makes this spearhead really, really good. It can just do a lot of tricks and it can play with your opponent. So a lot of times, I'll set up and I'll go, these clan rats are in reserve. So then my opponent goes, oh, well, I've got to leave stuff back. And then I go, cool, you've left your stuff back, you go first, and I just plop my clan rats in the back corner. And they're pretty much set up where they were going to be set up anyway. Before the game's even started, I've influenced you. You have done something different. And I was never going to do that. That was not my plan. I was always had a plan for the clan rats. They were going to go where they were going to go anyway. If you can get it, and it works brilliantly where your opponent just charges forward, great. You just pop something behind them. That's like the obvious answer for that battle trait.
So are you saying that the clan rats are a good choice because they're, at the end of the day, if you don't get to set them up for a turn because they've spent the whole time screening you out of it, you're like, well, it's clan rats.
Yeah.
rather than rat ogres, do you think, then?
I mean, I've done it for rat ogres as well. The brilliant thing about this tactic is you can pick anything in your army. And because you can pick anything, you can sort of go, well, it works for what you're against. If they've not got many models, well then, yeah, maybe I put the rat ogres there. And then they go, oh, well, I don't want them dropping behind, so they stay back. And then they've only got a few models coming forward then. So that's easier for me to fight. Because it's not massively... outside of your general and your rat ogres, it isn't really a massively killy army. And the general's a spearhead general, can be swingy at times. So it's not like they can just smash an army. What I'm basically saying is, there's a lot you can do with it, and it's really hard to pinpoint. It's like, yes, that is the one use for that. There are tons of uses. And I think that's what makes it really good. And there's a lot of uses for a lot of different things in this army, which is why, while it's not as killy as the other Skaven army, I do think it is a more competitive one, because you've just got a few more tricks. Now, saying that, I do actually think the battle trait in the other one is probably a little better.
Oh, that has got to be one of the top ones in all of Spearhead.
Yeah, the fact that you could make a move. And again, it's your whole army that can make the move. But I still think this is a very good one, just because it allows you to play mind games with someone. You can force them to set up in a way that isn't advantageous for them, and then go, well, I'm not even going to bother doing that. Or, like you say, you keep something in reserve and you go, all right, well, you've got to keep something back on that back corner objective now, in an army that doesn't have a lot of stuff, so can't keep stuff back. Moving on to regiment abilities. You've got 2. You've got warp-laced bullets. Pick a ranged weapon a friendly unit is armed with. That weapon has crit mortals this phase. You've got 3 options. You've got your engineer who only fires 2 shots, so you're probably not picking him. You've got your general and you've got your rat ogres, who both actually have a pretty good ranged weapon. Nothing crazy. But the issue is, both of them, you've got to roll to see how many shots you get. You can pick that ability and go, I'll do it, and then roll 2 1s. Or you can do it and you can roll 2 6s. And then all of a sudden, your rat ogres do loads and loads of damage with their shooting because they've got crit mortals. While it sounds pretty good, it's not always brilliant. If you combined it with one of the passives we'll talk about later to make your general 2d6 instead of d6, that may be something you can go for. So the other regiment ability, too quick to hit, because Skaven. No mortal damage is inflicted on friendly units when they use the retreat ability. And that's just a passive. So that's your whole army.
Can you choose not to be able to do that? That's my only thing, is obviously we love the trick of, I got 2 clan rats left, I'll retreat them out, hope the mortals kill them, and then bring the whole unit back. If you do pick that, does that mean that you can't do that?
Probably, because it's a passive and you can't choose to not be affected by passives.
Yeah, it's not like pick a unit that's using retreat ability, that unit will not take mortals. It's nothing in your army takes mortals when it retreats. That's my only...
Like you say, that is obviously something that's very good to do, but also it's harder to do with clan rats because you're constantly returning them.
But other than that, anything that can retreat without taking mortal damage...
Yep.
And especially as you're an army that people want to lock up because they want to lock up your shooting. Yep. You don't really want them to charge your engineer, do 3 damage, and then you be like, I can't retreat him because he might just die. You can be like, well, I'll retreat him. I know we can't shoot this turn, but he's alive and he's somewhere causing trouble. And
you've got enough stuff on the board that you can be like, well, I'll charge and then I'll charge the clan rats in, and then at least I know the engineer's safe, and then he's out there doing whatever he wants to do. Or the Grace here, or even the general. Yeah. I do think that is the better of the 2. Just because it's a passive, it's always happening, you don't have to pick. You can't fail it, as long as you retreat, you do it. While the other one, you could potentially do 12 mortals with it.
Would you look, if you do it are against an elite army with good saves, maybe that would convince you more than the retreating? Yeah,
maybe if I look at it and go, well, turn 1 I need to do as much damage as possible. Potentially, that would be a good one to do.
So we're probably saying too quick to hit, better in general. Yeah. The other one maybe situational against something that you really want to whittle down that's got a good save just through mortals getting through.
Yeah, maybe if they've got a 3+ save hero and you're like, I want that hero kind of dead, because say for instance the ogre's one that can do -1 to hit, and it is a pretty good combat one. That's a good one to pick it against, or maybe like the Carnus or something like that. You go, yes, that needs to die this turn. Moving on to the enhancements. You've got Lead the Seething Horde. Instead of using the setup instructions in the Call for Reinforcements ability, the replacement unit can be set up wholly within 13 of this unit and not in combat. Pretty good ability. 13 sounds really big, and obviously it's 13 because it's Skaven's number. Otherwise it'd be 12. But
you're gaining that extra inch. It's quite clever. It's Skaven, isn't it? It's clever that they gain an extra inch just because that's their number. Yeah. I hate that Khorne's number, is it 8, I think? Because their abilities, a lot of them are 8 or 16. And I'm like, why didn't you have a better number?
My God, the number 1. I roll a lot of them. So yeah, obviously it basically it'll allow you to set up in your opponent's territory. That's kind of what it does, because realistically you can set up in your own territory anyway, and it's outside of 3 normally. So I think it's one of those ones that it's either going to be really, really useful, or it's probably not going to matter.
Yes. I could easily see you choosing that and not being basically able to do it, because like you just said, 13's good, but let's say your general's swamped with a unit wrapped around him a bit.
Yeah.
Managing to set up that unit wholly within 13 of him, but still 3 away from that unit, is tricky practically. It's doable, but then maybe that's not the way you wanted them to be. I like it because, again, it's what you said before. It makes people go, that's a trick. I just assume, I killed that unit. They're not coming to the back of the board, and you're like, oh no, they're right by my general now.
You could, in theory, run your general up, have a clan rat die in battle round 1, and then reinforce them on a back objective.
Yeah.
As long as there's nothing obviously stood on that. Like you say, that's a really useful thing, but also then that's a bit awkward to plan. You could charge 10 clan rats into a unit of croc scores, and you can probably guarantee they'll probably die, but they could also roll 7 ones.
But then your unit survived and you're not unhappy, are you? They're probably locking them up. Like you just said, I think it's probably a hard one to plan, but if it just happens to pull off, could be very pivotal.
Yeah. So it makes this army a little bit tricky. You can pick that, and maybe it'll force your opponent to play a bit differently.
Yeah. If they know that's the case, maybe they really have to target down your general, or, like I say, or throw more things into him so that your clan rats are not coming back there, or decide not to go for your clan rats, but then your clan rats are there holding objectives for you.
Another enhancement, this is a passive, so Scry Connections. Your general's Rattling Pistol has an attack characteristic of 2d6 instead of d6. Like I mentioned earlier, if you pick the Crit Mortal one, it's probably also the one you want to pick as well. It means he's doing a little bit more.
Well, that's good. So that is every time he shoots.
Yeah, so every time he shoots.
2d6.
Gets 2d6.
Can he shoot in combat?
I believe he can shoot in combat.
So I think that makes it a lot better.
Yeah. He also has Crit Auto Wound.
If you're a lucky player, you choose that, because you always roll 5s and 6s on the 2d6, and then you're like, 11 attacks. And if you're the type that I roll 2 1s, what does that extra attack matter?
Maybe if you need that bit more extra damage, if you're facing an opponent that's sort of got a lot of stuff on the board, maybe not the best stuff in the world, but you're like, well, I need to be killing.
Or you decided your tactic is just stay back and shoot them to death, because they've not got to shoot and they're maybe slow, or shooting's not great for them. So you're like, right, he's just going to stay at the back of the board and shoot as many times as he can until he runs in and fights. Yeah.
His other passive, Warp Stone Charm, subtract 1 from the save rolls for enemy units in combat with your general. So this one's actually really good, and some people do misunderstand that. So it's not just stuff your general is fighting, it is anything in combat of your general. So anything within 3 of your general has -1 from their saves. So when your clan rats fight them and your rat ogres, they still get the benefit of that. They still get the benefit of the -1 from saves.
And he's a good sized base as well. It's not like a small infantry hero base. He's a long base. So you could definitely get that within 3 of a few enemy units. Plus, if they're in combat with the general and you're shooting the thing in combat with the general, it's still getting -1 to its save. So it's kind of multifaceted, that one. I really like that ability.
There's a pretty good ability. His other passive, Cloak of Stitched Victories. Your general has a 5+ ward.
I think I am going to make a list sometime of all the armies that basically just have a... He has a 6-up, he has a 5-up, he has a 4-up.
Yeah.
They just are like, oh, we're out of ideas, let's throw a ward at it.
Just give him a ward,
Which is,
why not?
5-up ward is really good. You know what, Robin, this has really annoyed me. All of their abilities are really good.
The Rattling Pistol one, you could pick it and just roll double ones. But on the flip side, I suppose you could pick it and roll 12, 12, 12, and 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be fair, all of those are pretty good, and it does something that we really like in a Spearhead, where they all sort of do something just a little bit different. So what do you want? Do you want to be a bit more killy? Well, I'll subtract 1 from everything saves. Do you want to be a little bit more defensive? 5-up ward. Do you want to be a bit tricksy and like a bit awkward for your opponent? Well, I'll make it so my clan rats can be reinforced anywhere. Do I want to be a shooting army this turn? Great, well then I'll pick my one that makes me a bit better shooting.
And so it just literally suits your playing style and how you're planning on playing that game. I'd say it's less than other armies. It's less like, oh, I'm playing this army, I'll pick that. It's more how I want to play the game.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
I would want to rank them
Fair enough.
in the fact of you've got, in first place, you've got the
saves.
But then you can also pick the ward and you can also pick the reinforcements. So they're all first, and then you'd put the shooting. Just
really?
As a two.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have put the -1 to saves and the call for reinforcements top 2. And I'd put the other 2 equal, like slightly below. But I say they're all really good.
They are pretty good. They're all pretty good.
As someone who's, the last 2 games he's played, chose enhancements I did not literally use for the entire 2 games, look at them and go, oh, if I had an option like that in my army.
Yeah. So like you say, sometimes most Spearheads have, well, that's the one you always pick, and you always pick that one, unless there's very niche. And then some of them kind of have, I've got a few that are kind of good, but 2 of them are a bit... They're all pretty good.
I think even if you've got good ones, you always are just lean on the one that you just like, I found my best success for this, so I just keep using that particular one, unless the opponent's army just really forces my hand another way.
That's my style of play. That's how I like to play. That's what I'm successful with. So, moving on to the units, you've got your Claw Lord on Gnawfeast. So you've got your Ratman riding his rat dog. Basically. Or rat horse.
Depends. Is it big enough for a horse? Rat pony.
Rat pony. Rat Shetland pony. It moves 9. It's got 7 health, 4+ save, and 2 control. So not terrible. Nothing crazy. Like, as individual units, nothing really on here is super crazy. It's kind of middle of the road. Got an okay save, decent movement, 7 health. Pretty standard.
Standard for a cavalry unit. It's probably on the slower side of cavalry units.
Yeah, probably.
But they all can't move 14, you know? I think you've kind of got to have your variation there. And a 4-up save's pretty decent as well.
Yeah.
Coupled with its 6-up ward, means it's going to survive a few rounds of combat, hopefully.
As we mentioned, it does have a shooting tack. It has a rattling pistol. It's got a 10-inch range, 1d6 of attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage. It is auto-wounding, and it does shoot in combat. A nice little bit of chip damage. Move up, shoot a backline wizard, kind of might do something.
Added bonus that it's if it's a unit that gets stuck in combat and it's like with an enemy unit with like 1 health left, you might be able to shoot him out of combat and then charge something else that you want to be in combat with. I always like abilities like that because the amount of games I get stuck in a combat and I've just got no way of getting out of it, and so my turn is kind of wasted, whereas he has a potential to get himself out of it, which is really nice.
Yeah. Moving on to his melee weapons, he's got his warp-forged halberd, 5 attacks, 3s and 4s, 1 rend, 2 damage, and then his Gnawfeast's chiseled fangs, 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 rend, d3 damage.
Classical will confuse you by a 3s to 4, then a 4 to 3s.
Where it kind of really shines is its passive, Cornered Rat. While this unit has any damage, add 3 to the attack characteristics of the Warp-Forged Halberd. So that becomes 8 attacks.
The amount of times that we have played and I've been like, right, I'm activating, and I'm going to go on your Claw Lord, and you just give this little grin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is Robin smiling? I'm trying to kill his big hero. And he's like, you just made him, you've done 2 damage, and you made him better.
Yeah. That's typically what happens. You sort of charge him into something that you know is not going to do a great deal and go, that's my 1 damage. Great. He's only got 7 health, so you've got to be very careful doing that tactic, unfortunately.
But him going from 5 attacks to 8 attacks.
Plus the 4 attacks with the beast, that D3 damage. Not a massive amount of rend, but if you combo that with the -1 to saves, that's making him 2 rend.
He's essentially 2 rend, which is really good. I mean, not many things in Spearhead, there isn't a big thing, is more than 1 rend anyway. So the fact that both the attacks are 1 rend is pretty nice. You've not got many killy things in this army.
Yes.
So he does need to be that. So you do need to throw him into the right things and not have him just killed and die and then you struggle.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful with him. You've got to play him very well. But do you? Because you've got 2 other heroes. You've got your Gracier, who is literally the Gracier from the other Spearhead. So move 6, 5 health, 6+ save, 2 control. He's a wizard, so he's got his wizard attacks, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1 rend, D3 damage, and the exact same abilities.
When we did our game, when we kind of made our own Spearheads, we had the question of this going, because we were allowed to pick a main hero and a secondary hero. It was, are you allowed to pick him as your secondary hero? Because in one Spearhead he isn't, but the other one he is. And we decided that he was. And I think he is probably one of the better secondaries because of these 2 abilities.
Pick a friendly unit, hold within 13. Again, 13 inches is very important. To be the target, and then roll a dice. On a 3+, add that roll to the target's control score until the start of your next turn. It's a really good ability, because you can pick anything. 13 inches, you probably get something first round, probably get something second round. And whereas in the other one, it can be a little awkward if you don't pick the teleport, because he is definitely a backline wizard. You've got to kind of keep him back. With this one, you can be a little bit more adventurous, because it's, well, if he dies, it's a bummer. But it doesn't matter, because he's not super important. You can kind of push him up a little bit, and you've got enough to kind of keep him defended. So you should be able to get it maybe in the 3rd and 4th battle rounds, depending on what's happening. But essentially a +6 to a control is very nice on a lot of these units.
Especially when 1 clan rat can be 7 control score. And that unit that they're like, I don't want to kill that clan rat unit because it's all going to come back, so I'll kill enough that I'll take it. And then you've forgotten that they've got that boosted control score and you can't do that.
Yeah, the fact it's on a 3+ means it's pretty consistent, which is nice. His other ability, Wither, pick a visible enemy unit within 13. You can do this turn 1 if you have the first turn. To be the target, and then make a casting roll on 2d6. On a 6+, inflict D3 mortal wounds on the target.
I hate that spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's only D3 mortal wounds, but like you say, it's pretty good, nice chip damage. It's 13 inches. If it was his only spell, you'd be like, it's a bit so-so. That's his second spell. How many actual wizards have 2 spells?
I mean, the first one's not a spell, isn't it? It's like an
yeah,
ability. But how many things have 2 abilities in the same phase?
Yes.
Like that to do, that aren't even an added one? You know, he just has those always. And the 13 inches literally means if they've set up within 6, you set up within 6, you're doing it first term.
Yes.
Pretty much. Unless they're kind of 6 the other side of the board somehow. But
if you know you're going first and you notice something is that, you go, oh, great, well, I'll put him there. And then in my movement phase, I'll move him back. So moving on to your tertiary hero in this list. The only one. Or depending on how you rank them, I suppose. You could argue that the Gracier is. But your Warplock Engineer. So move 6, 5 health, 5+ save, 2 control. Definitely not a combat unit. Pretty squishy. Only 5 health, only 5+ save. But obviously it is not a combat unit. It's ranged attack. It's Warplock Musket, 24 inches.
Hitting most things in Spearhead.
You'll struggle to set up and it not be able to shoot you. You do only get 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 2 rend and D3 damage. And it is crit auto wound. It's Skaven. swingy. It's just really swingy. And I say it's D3 damage. Is it? Because you've got a passive. When you declare the shoot ability, if this unit hasn't used a move ability this turn, on a 2+, the damage characteristic of the Warp Lock Musket is set to 3 this phase. On a 1, inflict D3 mortals on this unit.
How many times have you rolled that one?
Not that much, to be fair. I have, obviously, yes, I have done it.
He's one of the ones which is perfect for this army. He'll either do it all or he'll kill himself.
Yeah.
There's not much in between with him.
Yeah. And he does have a combat attack. He has a Warp Forge dagger, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend. It is 2 damage, which I've always thought is really weird.
That looks so... Especially when the no rend is before it, looks really weird.
But I suppose if he's in a really nothing combat against another backline small hero, he might win out because of the 2 damage. Who knows?
I just think they didn't want to put D3 again. 2 D3s in a row.
I'd have had it 1.
Yeah, but
Literally.
What's he hitting you with? He's got a dagger, Rob. It's better than like a staff, which most of them have.
Yeah, but like you say, that's not what he's there for. He's there just to sit on a back objective, hold ground. You know, you can even have him on set up to the side for take the flanks, anything like that. And he just sits there taking pop shots. And like you say, he'll either do nothing, or he'll snipe a hero, or he'll, get something out of combat. Potentially you could give him crit mortals. So moving on to the bulk of your army. Clan Rats, exactly the same as they were in the other Spearhead. They move 6, 1 health each, 5+ save, 1 control score. You get 10 of them. So that's a 10 health unit running around with 10 control score. Potentially 16 if you get the spell off. Will hold objectives pretty well, especially when you combine them with the fact that they can return D3 models at the end of every turn. Really good small infantry unit.
Robin, I think you're downplaying them. They are, I would say, one of the best 1 health units in the game. Literally because of that one ability. They won't do a thing in combat.
Yeah, so obviously they have 2 attacks each, 4s and 5s, no rend, 1 damage. I think on average you should get 2 for at no rend.
At no rend, so most things save.
Yeah.
They are not there for that. They are there to clog things up, hold the objective for you, and die.
Yeah.
And then come back or annoy your opponent because they're like, wow, I took that, and then you're like, I just bought 3 back. You know you've been playing Spearhead too long, where when we played our last full match play game, they had 20 clan rats. Like, oh, that's a reinforced unit. And they're like, no, 40 is. And I'm like,
40.
Yeah, 20 looks a lot to me, though, after I'm used to 2 blocks of 10.
And they've got crit auto wound in the main game.
And they've got crit auto, which was not fun.
No. You can if you take the big priest, make them crit morts.
You can, yeah.
They are a little easier to shift than the other Spearhead because they can return D6 with them. D3 again is a bit swingy. It's nice to bring 3, but you'll probably only be bringing 1 back.
But the fact that you could have a unit that's got 3 left, you've taken the ability not to take mortals retreating.
Yeah.
So you retreat them out, end of that turn, they bring D3. They then move somewhere else and hold an objective. The end of that turn, they bring D3. Suddenly that's a whole unit back that, and it's already been reinforced at that turn, you don't want them to die, and suddenly they're all a full unit again, causing trouble somewhere. It's so powerful.
And then lastly, sort of your only other unit that's, I say, is going to do damage, we'll see, is your Rat Ogres. They've got a movement of 6, 4 health each, 5+ save, and only 1 control score each. And you get 3 of them. This is a unit that's a little bit awkward, where you have 2 with claws, blades, and fangs, and 1 is armed with the warp fire gun and clawed blades and fangs. So you only get 1 of the units shooting, unfortunately. It'd be very broken if all 3 of them did. So 12 health running around on a 5-up save. They are the type of unit where you kind of go, well, it's a fair bit of health. 5-up save's not great, though. And obviously they are the type of unit where they roll a lot of dice, you lose 1, you lose a lot of dice, and they suddenly become a lot less effective. So you've kind of got to hit hard with them. And I say they roll a lot of dice, I've still had a lot of combats where I've gone in with a full unit, rolled all my dice, and gone, oh, well, they only actually did a little bit.
Well, it's 4s, isn't it? Anytime it's 4s, you can just have a roll that just doesn't do enough. And then exactly what you said, you lose 1, and you've lost a third of its output potential, and that's
only 4 health on a 5-up save.
That's very doable.
That's very doable for a lot of units.
Yeah, units that just do enough with 1 rend, and you don't save any. Ward.
You've got to be very careful with this unit. But moving on to its attacks, as I mentioned earlier, you get 1 unit with a ranged weapon. It's a warp fire gun. Its range is 10, so not brilliant. You get 2d6 shots, 2s to hit, 4s to wound, 2 rend, 1 damage. And that's kind of the thing you're shooting into the hero that's got the better save that you kind of want to kill, because it's the 2 rend. Unfortunately, it's just 2d6. She's either brilliant or not brilliant.
Guarded hero. You know, at least you're hitting on 3s. A guarded hero, it was the other way around, and guarded hero meant you hit on 5s. You're going to struggle to get them through. You're going to be 3s and 4s instead of 2s and 4s. So slightly less impactful at the very least. Shooting combat means at least you're...
Yeah.
If you've... Again, I just like it because you're in combat with a unit, you've done quite a bit to it the turn before, and you just shoot a bit more and either get yourself out of combat or do enough that even if you have to fight somewhere else, more important first, hopefully they won't kill another rat ogre and you're surviving with that unit as long as you can.
So, melee weapons, so all 3 of them. So you got the claws, blades and fangs, so you get 5 attacks each, so 15 attacks. Quite a lot of attacks. But it is 4s and 3s, 1 rend, but 2 damage. So that's pretty good.
What's that on average then?
So it's like 7.5 on your hits, and then 3s would make it like 3. So 6 damage. There are ways to potentially buff it. You can drink from the draft and make them 3s and 3s. That does make them a bit better. But would you risk it? That's the only thing.
That's what I was about to say. If you happen to drink, take the damage, and you have got 1 left on 1 health.
Yeah.
That's not brilliant.
Especially when you combine it with their ability, the Unleash Warp Fury. Inflict D3 mortals on this unit, then add 1 to the attack characteristics of the melee weapons this phase. I mean, it's Skaven. That's literally Skaven. Essentially, I describe this ability as, I've gone first, it's turn 1 and I've took no damage yet. Because realistically, you've only got 4 health. So you take any damage in combat, because you've not got a ward, and then you gain 2, but you've lost 5. So that's never a good trade-off. Yeah. So I've only ever used it if it's turn 1 and I've charged, and I know I'm going to fight with them before I fight with anything else.
And you hope that then, because of that, you've done enough damage that you've crippled them and there's nothing they can do back to you, or you've wiped them, or
Yeah. So a pretty good little fighty unit. So that's the army.
As someone who's I played with it for 1 whole battle round when we did our kind of explanation video of talking through it, and who's just played against it a lot. It's just got so much stuff that does so much. And I think it's definitely one where we described the Stormcast as being very beginner friendly. Yes. Because there's not many abilities. It does a lot of everything. It does them pretty well. And it's got good enough saves and reinforced units that it's hard to have a terrible game with it. Whereas this I look at and go...
It is not beginner friendly.
It is not beginner friendly in terms of if you play against someone who is a good experienced player who knows what they're doing and has got a good army, you need this army to do everything it needs to do at the right times, at the right places, very well. I think it wouldn't be a bad one if you'd bought the box together and you're both completely unexperienced and you're just playing your games. I don't think you'd be terribly mismatched. But I think if 2 players took those 2 armies, one of them was an experienced Skaven player, one was experienced Stormcast, I think this army does do so well.
Yeah, it's a weird one where it'll do well in beginners against bad armies because you've just got a lot of stuff and you can kind of look into stuff and make stuff work. But then sort of when you get to the middle sort of level, it kind of drops off because everyone understands everything now and everyone knows how to do it and everyone sort of realises, oh, well, if I just kill the hero and the rat ogres, I win. 'Cause what else are you doing? Well, yeah. But then when you become better and you understand the army and you kind of go, oh, well, I don't just run into the middle and fight everything. Turn 1.
Great, I'm going to go kill the rat ogres in the general. Oh, there's 20 clan rats stood in the middle of the board stopping me.
Yeah.
You know, what can you do? So if a good player can position these and plan these out, I think they're a very difficult spearhead to play against. Yes. And I would imagine a very fun one to play, especially when things pull out your way that you want it to go.
Yeah, when you can get stuff to work. You've got to be an experienced player. So you also sort of need to know your opponent's spearhead for it to work as well. You can't just go, well, yeah, I'll fight that because, I don't know, why not? you've got to go, well, I know my general probably isn't going to win that fight, so I've got to gunk that up with the clan rats, and then my general will sneak round the back and fight the other thing.
I do prefer playing against this one to the other one, just because the other one just frustrates me so much with their movement shenanigans. And the Storm Fiends can be so brutal.
Yeah, so the other one is much more swingier. It has a much higher potential, but it also has a such lower one. Any game where you can just be like, oh, I did 10 mortals to you, turn 1. Great, what do you do against that?
And their cards are like, do not waver, take an objective, and cut off the head. So you move your whole army up to their general who stood in the middle of the board by himself on an objective, and he just walks away from you and you miss your charge.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's my whole game screwed.
Yeah.
I think that this one, he makes you feel like you got a chance more, but actually, if someone's good with it and does all the right things, is one of the top.
So, what are we ranking it as then?
Painting, aesthetics, putting together. As we mentioned in the previous podcast, you made this in 11 hours with the Stormcast ones, and you said this took majority of your time, basically because you've got 20 clan rats to make.
But there is... So we didn't really actually mention it, but I suppose there's one sort of benefit to this spearhead that no other spearhead kind of has, is that if you get this one, you've got half of another one.
All you're needing is your Storm Fiends.
And the cannon.
And that is it. Because obviously the clan rats, because I don't actually think that we could do a mirror match with these, because I think you only have 20 painted up clan rats.
Yeah, I only have 20 painted. I've got more made. I think I might have 30 actually.
Okay, so we're not far off a mirror match here, but you're right, actually. There's a few armies that are like that you could have maybe 1 or 2 units from. Bone Reapers, I'm thinking, obviously. You got the cavalry, that is one of them, but there's
the Lumineth.
Lumineth, you got your Wardens, but there's not many that is the case, especially with this and the degree it is, which is really nice.
So I think that should probably give him a little boost.
I think the General is really nice. I think the Claw Lord is a really nice General. Again, when you put him next to the Stormcast one, he's not overshadowed too much. He is really nice looking.
Yeah, he is obviously a little bit smaller.
But I like his little details and everything. Yeah. Clan rats are clan rats. Yeah. And unless you are someone who loves batch painting, it can be like, I've got to get through 20 of these. But you can just do a few details and have them on the table pretty quick. I'm feeling a 2.5. We gave the other one a 2. Yeah. If you were to put the 2 side by side.
So yeah, maybe 2.5. I was thinking maybe a 3. Just because, like you say, the General is a really good model.
But I feel like one model doesn't quite make up.
Yeah, but you've got 2 other heroes there.
You do, but I don't think... I like both of them, but I don't think either of them are particularly wow models.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the engineer, if you did put it in a squad of clan rats, you might be like, why does that clan rat look a little bit weird?
The Gracie is nice. He's a nice model.
Yeah.
And I do like him. And obviously, it's nice looking at a spearhead and not looking at... I'm thinking Fire Slayers. You're literally looking at basically 3 models there.
Short, naked ginger dudes.
This you're looking at a hero and a cavalry, an individual hero who looks a bit different, the engineer who looks a bit different, all your clan rats, and then your rat ogres. At least you've got enough differences in all of them, which is nice.
So yeah, we'll go 2.5 then.
For the competitiveness, playability, fun, I will let you take the lead here.
So I'm pretty sure we gave the other one a 5.
We gave the other one a 5, and you have already claimed that this is a better competitive army.
But I distinctly remember I gave that one a 5 because it was really fun to play. The problem with this one is it is a more competitive one at top level, but it's a more stressful one to play because you need everything to work. That one, you can sort of look into it and it's good. This one, you sort of need everything to go your way to make it good. And it can do that, and it has the tricks to be able to do that.
I feel like its playability early and late on are probably really good, but the middle patch is probably quite tricky.
So I was probably thinking of giving it a 4. But it is still a good spearhead. And like you said, it's good 2 out of 3 of the times.
I wanted to say a 4.5 just because I do know how many times this spearhead has won tournaments and done really well. But having said that, I have not really had enough playing with it experience. So I'm happy with a 4.
Yeah.
So if you do want to find out about all those other armies that you obviously need to know how to play against, this is episode 22. We have done lots of different army reviews. We have also done some debate ones where we talk about the different sides of the board and damage that armies can do. So do check out the other podcasts, whether you're listening or whether you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube and you would like to hear a topic in the future or an army you really want to get to know a bit better, let us know in the comments. If you are listening on podcasts, you can email us at alloutageofsigmar@gmail.com and we will try and put it into our schedule. Outro. Oh, you've come prepared.
Rats, we are the rats. We prey on the night and we stalk at night. We are the rats.
And that's from...
It's a song.
Whose song?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Someone's. Do you really think that was a song?